So, what if I told you that there's a SpongeBob movie out there that might not even exist? A movie that, real or not, kicked off one of the most obsessive deep dive internet hunts I've ever seen. We are about to go way down the rabbit hole on this one. It's a story about a phantom film, a truly bizarre investigation, and a mystery that honestly still isn't solved. For years, this was the only clue anyone had. This weird, almost nonsensical synopsis for something called A Day with SpongeBob SquarePants the movie. Think about that for a second. A mockumentary where SpongeBob is a Hollywood celebrity? It's so bizarre, so completely out of character, that it just felt wrong. This was the first little breadcrumb, and it led into a very, very strange story. And let me tell you, that single breadcrumb was all it took to start a fire. By 2015, the internet's own detectives, the folks on 4chan and the Lost Media Wiki, they mobilized. And this wasn't just some casual search, oh no. This was a full-blown collective obsession. They analyzed every pixel, they chased down every single lead, no matter how sketchy it seemed. And you can really see how this thing just snowballed. It started as a whisper, a ghost in the machine, just this forgotten Amazon listing from way back in 2011. Then nothing for 3 years. Then, in 2014, it gets a page on the Lost Media Wiki. But August 2015? That's when it absolutely exploded into this huge internet mystery. A forgotten webpage had become an obsession. The first piece of so-called solid evidence was this supposed DVD cover. And, at a quick glance, you might think, okay, maybe it's real. But internet sleuths, they have a special talent for spotting fakes. And the second they started picking this thing apart, the whole story started to unravel. This cover was more than just suspicious. It was practically screaming, I'm fake. And yeah, that facade just crumbled almost instantly. Someone saw the kid on the cover, typed excited boy jumping into Google Images, and boom, there it is, first result. Just a generic stock photo. And all those glowing quotes from critics, every single magazine they mentioned was completely made up. This wasn't a movie cover, it was a cheap, pretty, lazy fake. Okay, so with the cover totally debunked, the investigation pivoted. Who made this thing? Well, the box says Regal Films. On paper, they seemed plausible enough, a company that makes low-budget documentaries. But the deeper the searchers dug, the clearer it became that plausible was the last word you'd use to describe Regal Films. And this is where the story just goes from weird to completely off the rails. First off, the company used multiple different names. Their own website was reportedly riddled with computer viruses. Their official business address, it wasn't an office building. It led to a storage locker facility, a storage locker. And to top it all off, the CEO had a criminal record. This did not look like a film company. It looked like a front for something else entirely. Things got even stranger when investigators actually managed to contact a producer named Jason Boritz. They asked him a simple question about this SpongeBob movie, and his reaction was, well, anything but simple. He allegedly just flipped out, screaming, cursing, telling them to never ever contact him again. Now, why would you have a reaction that extreme? What in the world were these guys trying to hide? So after hitting all these bizarre, frankly kind of creepy dead ends, the investigators finally got a real break. They managed to reach the head of Regal Films, who then put them in touch with the guy who supposedly created the film. And after all the mystery, all the suspicion, the story he told was almost disappointingly normal. So remember all those wild theories that this was a money laundering scheme, some kind of criminal front? Well, the reality, at least according to the creator who called himself Mr. Orange, was way more mundane. He confessed, the film never existed. It was just a pitch. He wrote a script, he made some fake promo materials to try and get investors interested, but the money never came through, so the movie was never, ever made. To prove it, Mr. Orange even sent them the first few pages of his script. And it was fine, Just a story about SpongeBob and some kid named Andy. After a hunt that lasted years, full of conspiracy theories and paranoia, this felt like such a quiet, anticlimactic ending. For a minute there, it really seemed like the case was finally closed. But come on, this is the internet. A really good mystery never stays dead for long, right? Just when everyone started to accept the official story, a piece of hard, physical evidence surfaced from the archives. And this one piece of evidence threw that entire confession into question and kicked the whole mystery wide open again. So you have to ask yourself, should we just believe him? Does a simple failed movie pitch really explain the storage locker address, the website with a virus, or the producer absolutely losing his mind on the phone? Or was that whole confession just another layer of smoke and mirrors? This This right here is the piece of evidence that changes absolutely everything. A Reddit user was digging through old newspaper archives and found it. It's a TV guide from a Canadian newspaper from late December 2011. And right there, printed in black and white, is a scheduled airing for A Day with SpongeBob SquarePants, the movie, on the channel YTV. And it's not just a passing mention. It was given a full 2-hour time slot. And here is the real kicker. That TV listing lines up perfectly with a tweet from January 1st, 2012, a tweet everyone had just written off as a joke for years. A user who was later confirmed to live in that exact area tweeted that he was watching the movie on the very day after it was scheduled to air. This was years before the internet search even began. He had absolutely no reason to make that up. And this is the question that just leaves the entire case wide open. If the film was never actually made, like the creator swears it wasn't, then what in the world did a Canadian TV station broadcast for 2 hours that night back in 2011? Was it just a mistake in the guide, a mislabeled marathon, or did something, anything, actually air under that title? So in the end, even with a confession from the creator and a script in hand, the mystery of A Day with SpongeBob SquarePants is so far from being solved. It's become one of the internet's great ghost stories, a phantom film, an unsolved anomaly, a piece of media that may or may not exist, forever haunting the digital archives. You know, this whole incredible story only exists because of the amazing work done by so many people in online communities who chase down every single lead. We've listed our main sources right here if you want to fall even deeper down the rabbit hole. Thanks for joining us.